Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Hello everyone and welcome to your English class. In our lesson today, we'll take some exercises from your workbook. All you need for the lesson today is your books on the workbook side, a sheet of paper and a pen to take down your notes. We have taken in this semester 4 units. The first one was titled, Did You Hurt Yourself? Number 2 was about Take My Advice. 3 was about You've Got Mail. And the last one, which is Wishful Thinking. For the lesson today, we will start from the workbook side and we will take some exercises on these 4 units. Let's start on page 77. Complete the story, use the words in the box. We're having these words: equipment, helmet, avoid, injure, and obey. Let's read the story and you will choose the correct answer. Majid loves to ride his bike. He rides it a lot. He has several accidents, but he has never hurt himself because he wears proper the safety items, which are the equipment. His friend Ted hasn't been as lucky. He recently had an accident on his bike. He crashed into a tree. When he swerved you want to stay away to avoid a car. He hurt his head and when you hurt yourself, and he was injured quite badly. He had to go to the hospital. He never thought that he had two safety rules to do what? To follow them is to obey them. The following story. Now, Ted knows that they are important, which are the safety measures. The week after his accident, he wanted to buy proper safety equipment, which is the helmet and the knee pads. He asked Majid what he used because he never hurt himself on his bike. Majid told him that he needed you notice on the head, you needed here a helmet for his head. Now Ted never rides his bike without it. So he's about to buy the safety equipment. One example is the helmet covering your head. Okay, now on page 79, exercise F, fill in the blanks with so or because. Based on the order of the information, 1 and 2 or 2 and 1, you will use so or because. Number 1, you need to pay attention. Why? So you know how to do your job. Pay attention, then you will know. 2, I didn't finish my homework last night. What happened? Because I was tired. Tired, that's why I couldn't finish. 3, my brother got a ticket yesterday because he was speeding. Speeding, then the ticket. 4, my brothers and I, so a group, always wear our helmets when we ride our bikes, so we don't hurt yourself. But first we will have the equipment, then we will have the hurt. She was injured in the car accident, so she went to hospital. Accident, then going to the hospital. Number 6, my brother broke his arm because he slipped on the ice. Slipping, then hurting yourself. Just imagine the order of the 2 actions and whether 1 and 2 or 2 and 1, and you will use so or because. On page 82, in here, you are about to think. Exercise K. Write what you think happened. Here, have you heard about a skydiver whose parachute didn't open until he was quite close to the ground? What do you think happened to him? You can refer to the reading lesson. We're having many stories, and one of them is about someone whose parachute didn't open. The main and the backup parachute didn't open. What happened? Let's summarize it. The man on the parachute, he landed on his face and hurt his nose and forehead lightly. So lightly in here, nothing bad happened to him. He then pulled himself up, shook the dust off, and walked away unharmed. So we're speaking here about someone who's lucky. he just hurt his forehead, maybe minor injuries, scratches and no breaks. The following in here. Number 2, have you heard about a boy who got trapped under the ice of a frozen lake? What do you think happened to him? Let's imagine that someone who was trapped under the ice, cold weather, you can't move anymore. So we will say, what happened? The boy wasn't breathing when the rescuers got him out. So he had a problem breathing. The doctors were able to bring him back and he recovered over the next few months. So he was in a very bad situation. However, the doctor helped him when he got into the hospital for a few days or a few times. Okay. The following, page 82 as well. Here, have you ever heard or been into an accident? Hopefully so you have heard it. Write information about the accident in the chart. You can refer to the reading lesson as well. We're having many stories and we're going to organize one of these stories into this chart. You will answer a question, what was happening before the accident happened? So we will introduce the story. How did the accident happen? Now, within the accident, what could the person have done to avoid the accident? Before, during, and then we will try to give advice. I will speak about the dynamite story, which happened to the railroad worker. What happened? Before the accident, we're having a railroad worker, Phineas P. Gage, was working with some dynamite. So in here, I told you about what he does and his name, and as well as what was he doing. He was working with the dynamite, which is explosions. What happened during the accident? How did the accident happen? The dynamite exploded. We're having an explosion. 1 meter long bar went clear through his head. So it exploded, then we will have a bar, a stick went through his head. And what advice, what could the person have done to avoid? Before, we will change the action before, let's say, the accident. He should have been more careful, has taken precautions. Should be someone, if you are working with dynamite, you should be very careful, maybe wearing the safety equipment. It could be the helmet or any safety equipment. Okay, page 83, we're having this exercise, which is answering questions based on the picture. Let's start to study the picture. Here we're having a parent, a mom or a dad, and he or she is fastening the seat belt on the seat in here for this little kid. Let's try to answer the questions. Number 1, what is the person doing for safety? Not speaking about his driving, he's doing for safety, specific action. What is she doing or he's doing? He or she is fastening the baby in the child seat. You notice the action she's doing in here? She is fastening it, tightening it so the baby won't fall down. Then, what can happen if the person doesn't take safety measures? What are the safety measures? Wearing your seat belt, obeying the speed limit, and we're having even in here, which is the child seat, using the child seat. If we don't follow these, what could happen as a result? As a result, if he or she doesn't take safety measures, the baby might get hurt. As a result, the baby might get hurt, might hurt himself. How about where should the child seat be placed in the car? Is it going to be in the front, right passenger seat, or at the back? Usually, the child seat should be placed on the back seat of the car, where the driver can see him or her. What are some other things people should do to make sure the child is safe in the car, other than the idea of the child seat? We will say it here. You should make sure the child locks are activated. even if they are not in the car seat. Make sure that the car's lock are activated in case someone is trying to open or unlock the door. Okay. How about in here on page 89? Read the situation, listen to it, and give your advice. We're having here two friends are having a certain issue, a situation. Listen and tell about what is your advice for this person. Let's listen to the situation.
Hamid has invited Ibrahim over to his house to play video games. Ibrahim likes Hamid and would like to be his friend. But someone else told Ibrahim that the reason Hamid invited him is because he wants to play the new video game that Ibrahim bought last week. What should Ibrahim do?
So in here, we are trying to give advice to Ibrahim. Ibrahim has heard things about his friend Hamid, and we will give him advice. If you were Ibrahim, what things would you do? Or if you were his brother, what advice would you give him? I will say, he could ask Hamid, go and ask your friend, do you really want to play with me or you just want to play with the video game? Also, we can say that he should trust his friends. Hamid is your friend, so you have to trust him. Never listen to others. Also, he had better not listen to what the others say. Always trust your friends and don't listen to others. What have we done? We have used the modal auxiliary could, should, and the negative had better, not, followed by the action. Based on your choice, you had better not listen, you should trust, and you could ask. It's always about your choice and the most suitable one. How about the other problem in here? We're having here a parent and a son problem. What is the problem and what should he do? Let's listen.
Paul is the best player on the school basketball team. This year his father is helping the gym teacher to coach the team. Although this seemed like a good idea, it's not working out well. Paul's father is always yelling at him and telling him he's not good at basketball. Paul seems nervous and isn't doing well. That's hurting the team. The other players are worried, especially because some important games are coming up. What should the other players do?
Okay, so we're having here a team is having a problem. The coach, who is someone else's, Paul's father, one of the team members, is always yelling at him, and this thing is hurting the team. What should they do? The team, his friends, they should not blame Paul. He's not doing well, maybe because of the stress, because of his parent. Also, they should talk to Paul's father. Go to Paul's father, who is the co-coach, and tell him to be nice to his son. And also, they had better encourage their friend Paul. We have used shouldn't, negative, should, and had better with the suitable verb. You can choose any other sentence as long as you're choosing the correct modal auxiliary for advice. The following on page 92, here we're having you will read the email and reply with advice. Let's listen to the email that you are about to come up with an answer for this email. Reply, answer. Let's listen together.
Hello, please help. I don't know what to do. I lent my book to a friend of mine and we have a test tomorrow. It's too late to get it back and I only have my notes from class. How am I going to study? Any ideas?
So in here, we're having, this is a common problem. What have I done? What happened? I left my notes at school, or I gave my book to a friend, and tomorrow I'm having a test. What can I do? What advice can you tell a brother, a friend, or a sister if they are in the same situation? For me, I will say, hello. Notice that I'm using an informal way. Hello, please don't worry. Email your friend and ask him or ask her to scan the pages that you need to send them to you. So it's as easy as just email or call a friend and they can take pictures or photos for the pages that you need. We might also suggest that you can email or contact your teacher and then tell them, I don't have my notes, I don't have my book. Maybe they can do it later for you in any other day. Okay, now let's look into here. You will look at the pictures. The younger man is asking his father for advice. Decide what the advice is about. We will fill first this chart with the suitable words. A son and a father and his son. We will come up with nouns. Nouns like father, son, maybe a problem, decision, then salary, perks, cost. We're having location. How about verbs, actions? I can come up with the word consider, think, and change. We can think about these verbs. Adjectives like be careful, you are the best, suitable, exciting, fast, and specious. You can come up with any other one as long as you're going to use them. Let's write some advice from the father to his son. He's here in here. Decide what is the advice about. It could be about attending university, going to university, or choosing a career. So I will say in here, you had better think carefully about what you want to do. Think before you go. You had better think. Next, why don't you decide according to your skills, background, and preferences? Why don't you for suggestion? Why don't you decide? Next, I would advise you to search for small apartments near the university. It is my advice. You should prepare for the interviews. I would be very happy to help you rehearse. Rehearse is to try yourself out. Also, you ought to buy a car that is reliable and not the fastest. These are some of the advice that a parent or a father could give to his son. We can also come up with, you don't need to buy a spacious house until you have your own family. So buy a smaller one. How about we're still speaking about advice? Imagine that your friend has written to you for advice, asking for advice that he or she has at school or at work. Complete the chart, then come up with the required information. What problem can we talk about? Some maybe a problem related to the idea of weight and eating, to the idea of fitness, or the idea of getting along with friends. For me, I would choose to speak about getting along with friends. I don't have friends. How can I come up with friends? In here, we will summarize the problem into this chart. A description for the problem, so we will come up with the general problem, then we will break it down into two details, two sides of the problem. So you have to think about a general one, then we will break it down into two ideas. In here, I have moved to a new school. Moving to a new school sometimes is a problem for some people. I feel lonely and I can't get along with friends. New schools, new friends, I am alone and I couldn't find any friend. What are the suggested advice for such a problem? I will say, you ought to be friendly. Ought to be friendly so people will be able to talk to you. Also, you might invite your classmates. You start with the invitation and ask them to come to your place, to your house, or to go out with them. Let's break it into a smaller problem, one specific problem from this. We will say, I am considered the new student. Maybe they don't call you by your name. They will call you the new student. Also, no one talks to me. I am alone and no one talks to me. What advice can we come up with? I can say, you should start a conversation. Don't wait for them to talk to you. You start the conversation. Also, we can say, you ought to introduce yourself to them well. Go and introduce, this is me, that is my name. Maybe they don't know your name. Another part of the problem, I'm not invited anywhere. When they go out, they will not ask me to come up with them. Also, I'm not allowed to participate in the football team. They will play at the gym or at the football team, but I am not part of the team. I will come up with advice like, you might talk to the team coach. It's not their call, not their decision. It is someone else's decision. Also, you ought to talk to the school counselor. If you still feel alone, just go to the teacher who's responsible for the new students, the school counselor, and they are always there to help you. Okay, and here, page 96, we're having to write the possible solutions for each problem. What if you have a sore throat? I'm having a problem with my throat. The problem in here, so drink a warm drink, tea, milk, or just any herbs. I have rash, redness all over my body. Use a skin cream. Take a cold shower. How about the flu? I have the flu. What should I do? Stay in bed. Take painkillers. I am always under too much stress. Relax. I'm having a toothache, a pain in my teeth. I will tell you to take painkillers. Go to the dentist. How about feeling tired? I don't feel good. I will say relax, go out, call a friend. These are some of the suggestions. Here we're having some adjectives which you are about to tell whether it is positive or negative. What about afraid? Afraid is a negative feeling. Bored, negative. I am glad to meet you, positive. When you are nervous, it is a negative feeling. When you are sick, it's negative as well. How about terrible? Very bad, negative. Then we're having angry. It's a negative feeling. I am excited. Excited is a positive feeling. I feel great, positive. Relaxed, it's positive as well. When you feel sleepy, you don't feel good. When you feel tired, it's a negative feeling. How about being bad, feeling bad? Negative as well. Fine and okay is a positive feeling. Happy is a positive feeling. Then we're having sad is a negative feeling. Strong, energetic is positive. And wonderful is a positive feeling. These you can tell and use them when you are describing how you feel when you meet a friend, when you get a full mark, and these things. So what do you do when you have a headache, pain in your head? What do you do? Action. I will take a painkiller. Maybe you will take any medication. What do you do when you have a toothache, pain in your teeth? I go to the dentist. What do you do when you feel anxious, nervous? I take a deep breath. How do you feel when you have the flu? You got the flu. How is your feeling? I feel terrible. How do you feel when you exercise after going to the gym? I feel great. And how do you feel when you meet new people? I feel excited, glad, and happy. So these are about how you feel towards things. On page 103, exercise M, look at the picture and write as many sentences that we will use so that. He is so tired that he couldn't go out. He was so sick that he couldn't attend the class. Here we're having a man on his computer and his phone, and he is looking into the weather. Weather changes are monitored closely. Why? So that damage by storms can be prevented. The second one, the controller watches the screen very carefully. Why? So that accidents can be avoided. We will avoid accidents if he looks carefully. Large screens are used. Why? So that conditions can be shown clearly over a broad area. So he's doing this so that we can avoid another thing. On page 109, read the sentences and write what each person wishes. The idea of I wish something, I did something. We're having Charles. I'm not good enough to play professional basketball. I want to do it. He will say, Charles wishes that he was good enough. I am turned to be that he was or he were good enough to play basketball. Kevin, my friend won't listen to me. I want him to listen to me. Kevin wishes that his friend would. Instead of will, we will have would. David, I have to do homework every night, and that is boring. David wishes that he didn't have to do homework every day. The do and to did. I can't see my parents this year. Joanna wishes that she could, can, and to could see her parents this year. So it is actually a wish, so you will change the verb into the simple past tense. And here we will look at this picture and come up with sentences with if in imaginary situations or I wish. These are the friends. If I had some time off, I would go on a trip. Had, I don't have some time, I would go. This is the F conditional. If I had enough money, I would invite my friends to come along for the trip. If I had, I would invite. How about the wishes? Someone will wish, I wish I had time and the money to do it. Wish I had. However, in reality, I don't. The last one, I wish my friend could accompany me, could come with me. Wish, and we're having the idea of could. So we're in all imaginary situations, we're always using the simple past tense. And we will use would, could, or might. Okay? I guess we are all done with this semester. Thank you so much for your time. It was really my pleasure.